Welcome back to my YouTube channel. History, mystery, and hidden fortune collide in the most unexpected places, and today, we are diving into an astonishing story that will absolutely blow your mind, especially if you've ever walked past loose change or overlooked an old coin in your drawer, because this time, we are talking about the elusive and outrageously valuable 1988 p half dollar, a coin that by all accounts should be worth just 50 cents. Yet it has astounded collectors and stunned experts with a jaw-dropping valuation of $35 million. Yes, you heard that right. $35 million for a coin minted for everyday use. And the reason behind such a shocking price tag is an intricate blend of numismatic anomalies, rare minting errors, production mishaps, and a unique convergence of historical significance, collector demand, and sheer improbability that transformed this seemingly ordinary coin into a legend in the world of coin collecting. So let's unravel the fascinating tale of the 1988 p half dollar, explore the incredible errors that make it so desirable, and discuss why this coin has reached such astronomical worth. And to do that, we have to first go back to the late 1980s when the United States Mint was grappling with technological transitions and material inconsistencies that led to a higher-than-average occurrence of minting errors. During this period, and the Philadelphia Mint, marked by the P mint mark on the coin, was particularly susceptible due to the immense production volumes and evolving equipment, and in 1988, the half dollar was already becoming somewhat of an oddity in circulation, as it was produced in smaller numbers and used less frequently by the general public, which inadvertently made even regular 1988 half dollars less common in circulation. But what sets this specific coin apart is not merely scarcity, it is the nature and extent of the errors present in the coin, starting with the most glaring of all, an off-center strike so dramatic that it displaces nearly 25% of the obverse design, shifting the profile of John F. Kennedy in a way that's immediately noticeable and aesthetically jarring. And this type of error, known as a major off-center strike, is rare in general, but to find it on a half dollar, especially one from the 1988 Philadelphia Mint, is practically unheard of, and yet this particular coin exhibits it in perfect clarity, maintaining full date visibility and a partial mint mark, both of which are essential elements that dramatically enhance value, because many off-center strikes obscure these key identifiers and thus reduce numismatic value, but the 1988 p half dollar in question manages to retain all the identifying marks while clearly showcasing the minting flaw, a combination that makes it enormously desirable. And that's just the beginning, because further examination under magnification reveals a double die on both the obverse and reverse, which means that during the minting process, the die used to strike the coin had been engraved twice with a slight misalignment, causing parts of the design to appear as if shadowed or duplicated, particularly noticeable on the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" on the obverse, and "United States of America" and half dollar on the reverse. And this doubling error is considered one of the most coveted errors in the world of coin collecting, especially when it's as strong and clear as the one found on this coin, because while minor doubling can sometimes be dismissed as die deterioration, true hub doubling is rare and valuable, and when it occurs on a denomination as large and relatively less circulated as the half dollar, it becomes even more exceptional. And this specific 1988 p half dollar not only features dramatic doubling, but also reveals a die clash, another extraordinary error where the obverse and reverse dies collided without a coin planchet in between, leaving imprints of one design on the opposite die, and as a result, ghost-like outlines of the reverse appear faintly on the obverse and vice versa, a haunting and visually compelling anomaly that has intrigued collectors and intensified the mystique around this coin. And it doesn't end there, because there's also evidence of a broad strike error, where the coin was struck outside the retaining collar, causing it to spread unnaturally and lose its reeded edge, giving it a broader, thinner appearance that further distinguishes it from normal half dollars. And these kinds of mechanical errors are rarely found all together on one coin, and yet the 1988 p half dollar presents them in unison, as if a perfect storm of minting mishaps conspired to create a 1 in a billion specimen. And if all of that weren't enough, metallurgical testing has revealed an unexpected composition anomaly, as this particular coin was struck on a planchet with an incorrect metallic blend, deviating slightly from the standard copper-nickel-clad composition and exhibiting an unusual weight variance and a slightly different electromagnetic signature, which is detected by sophisticated coin analyzing equipment used by professionals. And such anomalies further confirm that this coin stands apart not only for its visual errors but for its physical makeup, possibly indicating that it was struck using an experimental or transitional planchet, which in itself could be a major factor contributing to its rarity and immense value. And when we consider the historical context, collector demand, and sheer improbability of this coin's characteristics, it becomes clear why it has been the subject of intense bidding wars at auction houses, private collector circles, and even institutional collections, with some experts speculating that the coin's value could climb even higher in the future as more collectors become aware of its existence and provenance. And speaking of provenance, the story of how this coin was discovered adds even more allure, as it was initially found in a bag of $half intended for a vending machine company, and it caught the attention of a technician who had a keen eye for coins and was puzzled by its unusual appearance, setting off a series of expert evaluations that confirmed the unprecedented combination of errors, and once it was authenticated, graded at an astonishing MS67 error designation by a leading grading service, and showcased at major numismatic expos, it gained worldwide attention and eventually commanded a staggering $35 million valuation after being acquired by a prominent anonymous collector who views it not just as a coin but as a singular artifact of minting history, and the possibility that more such coins might exist, perhaps in bankrolls, estate collections, or forgotten drawers, has ignited a wave of interest in checking 1988 $half for similar signs, with collectors now scrutinizing every detail from weight to strike sharpness to surface anomalies in hopes of discovering another unicorn in the numismatic world. And while it's unlikely that a perfectly matching specimen will emerge due to the sheer improbability of the errors aligning in the exact same way, the discovery of this coin has certainly pushed boundaries and reminded the world that value can hide in the most unexpected places. And as collectors, hobbyists, and curious treasure hunters alike continue their search, the 1988 $half remains a symbol of how error, imperfection, and rarity can create a masterpiece that commands awe, respect, and fortune. So if you ever come across a 1988 $half, take a long, hard look, because that 50-cent piece might just hold the key to a multi-million-dollar treasure waiting to be recognized, appreciated, and celebrated by those who understand that in the world of coin collecting, it's often the mistakes that are worth the most, and that's the magic that keeps the hunt alive, the curiosity burning, and the stories worth sharing. So stay tuned, keep exploring, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want more incredible stories like this one, because who knows what hidden fortune might be lying right beneath your fingertips. Next, 1991 $half USA coin. Everyday pocket change turns into treasure and forgotten coins become the stars of million-dollar stories. And today, we're about to take a fascinating journey into the unexpected riches hidden in the form of a seemingly simple and ordinary 1991 $half, a coin that was meant to circulate freely in commerce, to pass hands unnoticed, to sit quietly in coin rolls, in drawers, or inside old piggy banks. Yet against all odds, one particular specimen has captivated the numismatic world and stunned collectors globally by being valued at a staggering $34 million due to a remarkable and rare convergence of errors, minting mistakes, and one-of-a-kind features that have elevated it from common currency to a legendary artifact of US minting history. And if you've ever doubted that a $half could be worth more than a luxury estate or a fleet of exotic cars, this incredible tale will change the way you see loose change forever, because the story behind the 1991 $half that sold for tens of millions is not just about age or scarcity, it is about what went wrong, beautifully, perfectly, and unbelievably wrong, during the minting process that turned this coin into a collector's dream and a financial phenomenon. So let's dive deep into the details, the timeline, the discoveries, and most importantly, the multitude of errors and their implications, starting with the context of the era. because 1991 was a transitional period for the US Mint, with shifting production demands, aging equipment, evolving quality control systems, and varying alloy sourcing that led to increased possibilities of unintended errors slipping through unnoticed, and the Philadelphia Mint, designated with the P Mint mark, was particularly under pressure to meet its annual production goals while simultaneously dealing with subtle inconsistencies in die life, planchet quality, and striking precision, and within this environment of immense output and imperfect oversight emerged one particular coin that would defy expectations and redefine the upper limits of error coin valuation, and it all started with a planchet error. This 1991 P-half dollar was struck on a transitional planchet, not the typical copper-nickel-clad composition intended for circulation, but rather on an experimental alloy with a silver content traceable to leftover blanks intended for commemorative strikes, making it instantly notable due to its unusual color, weight, and conductivity properties, which were first detected by a collector using a simple digital scale and a magnetic slide test, realizing the coin was unusually heavy and reacted differently to typical metal tests, and upon further investigation, it was confirmed that this planchet anomaly alone would make the coin a major rarity, but it didn't stop there because this coin also features an off-center strike of nearly 20%, causing the entire design of the obverse, President John F. Kennedy's iconic profile, to appear dramatically shifted to the right, leaving a crescent-shaped blank arc along the left edge and fully visible date, an error combination that magnifies visual impact while preserving the identifying markers that are so crucial in establishing the coin's value. And such a bold yet readable off-center strike is a dream for error collectors because it showcases the minting flaw while still telling us exactly what year and location the coin originated from, and when paired with the wrong planchet, the value of this error multiplies exponentially, and then, moving on to the die errors, things get even more extraordinary because this 1991 P-half dollar exhibits intense doubling on both the obverse and reverse, known as a double die error, where multiple parts of the design appear slightly duplicated due to a misalignment in the die during hubbing. And the doubling is not subtle, it's strongly visible in the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and 1991 on the obverse, and on the reverse, "United States of America," "E Pluribus Unum," and half dollar. All exhibit clear notching and shadowed outlines that can be seen with the naked eye and explode into brilliant detail under magnification. And this form of doubling is highly prized in the numismatic community because it suggests a fundamental mechanical flaw during die production rather than normal wear or deterioration. And few double die half dollars are known from 1991, making this coin not just a standout but quite possibly unique. And adding to the mystique is a well-documented die clash that occurred when the obverse and reverse dies collided without a planchet in place, resulting in ghost-like impressions of the reverse design being imprinted onto the obverse die and vice versa, which then transferred onto subsequent coins, and this particular 1991 P-half dollar displays this clash vividly, with parts of the eagle's wings from the reverse faintly visible on Kennedy's jawline. Adding another layer of remarkable rarity, and as if all of that weren't enough, the coin also reveals a broadstrike error, which occurred when the coin was struck without the restraining collar that normally keeps it within proper dimensions, causing it to expand slightly and lose its reeded edge, making the coin appear larger and more dramatic in hand. A visual cue that instantly catches the eye of anyone familiar with minting standards, and yet even with all these anomalies, the coin's surface luster and overall sharpness indicate it was struck with nearly full force, leading grading experts to assign it an astonishing Mint State 68 designation, almost unheard of in error coins due to their chaotic production paths, and this high grade only further drives up the desirability and value. And collectors love coins that are not only rare and erroneous but also beautiful and well preserved. And when the coin first came to light at a regional coin show, it caused an immediate stir, with word spreading quickly among dealers, collectors, and grading services, all of whom recognized its once-in-a-lifetime nature, and after intense evaluation, authentication, and grading, it was placed at auction where private bids quietly escalated into the millions, and when the final gavel fell, The hammer price had reached a mind-boggling $34 million, setting records and leaving even seasoned collectors astonished. But beyond the technical marvel of this coin lies a broader story about how these minting mistakes happen, why they matter, and how they become so valuable. Because while many errors reduce a coin's aesthetic or monetary worth, others do the opposite by showcasing the fragility of the minting process and the rare chance of a perfect storm of anomalies, and in this case, a rare alloy, off-center strike, double die clash, broad strike, and high-grade preservation all converged in one coin, likely the only one of its kind, and that's what drives collectors wild. The chance to own something no one else has, a singular object that tells 1,000 stories and embodies a moment in history when the machines faltered in just the right way, and the coin survived intact to bear witness. And so the 1991 half dollar has become a legend, studied by experts, admired at exhibitions, and discussed in hushed tones at numismatic gatherings, its image immortalized in auction catalogs and its story repeated to inspire a new generation of collectors to look more closely at every coin they come across, because the odds may be slim, but the reward can be immense. And while the rest of the 1991 half dollars are still worth face value or modest collector premiums, this one specimen stands alone as a testament to the unpredictable and often magical world of mint errors, and the fact that it was discovered not by a professional, but by an everyday enthusiast with an eye for detail, reminds us all that the next great discovery might just be sitting in our change jar, waiting for the right person to notice, to question, and to unlock its hidden story. And that's why we love coins, not just for their metal, their design, or their age, but for their potential to surprise us, to rewrite what we thought we knew, and to hold in our hands a piece of history that's worth more than gold, more than art, more than most can imagine. And so if you come across a 1991 half dollar, don't ignore it. Check the edges, weigh it carefully, examine the details under good light, because although the odds are astronomically small, lightning has struck once, and where it struck, a simple coin became a multimillion-dollar marvel. So stay curious, keep searching, and join us next time as we continue exploring the hidden treasures of numismatics. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more unbelievable coin stories that prove that even the smallest pieces of metal can carry the biggest surprises and the richest rewards. Last 1989 half dollar USA coin. Small coins lead to massive discoveries, where what's forgotten in pocket change can become a life-altering treasure, and where numismatic legends are born from the most surprising places. And today we dive into one of the most captivating, mystifying, and financially astounding tales in the world of coin collecting, the story of the extraordinary 1989 half dollar, a coin that on its surface should be worth a mere 50 cents, an everyday piece of currency. Struck by the Denver Mint and circulated without fanfare, but one specific specimen has risen far above the ordinary to command an astronomical value of $33 million. And what's more fascinating than the price tag is the journey of how this coin achieved such legendary status, a journey built on a perfect storm of minting anomalies, historical context, metallurgical rarity, design imperfections, and collector passion that converged into a truly once-in-a-lifetime artifact. And in this video, we are going to peel back every layer of this story, explore every technical detail, and uncover every reason why this coin, the 1989 half dollar, went from average to exceptional, from forgotten to famous, from common change to a coveted crown jewel in the world of numismatics. So sit tight and get ready for an in-depth look that will make you think twice about what you might have lying in your drawer or change jar, because when it comes to coins, sometimes the difference between 50 cents and $33 million comes down to a handful of miraculous imperfections. And to understand why the 1989 half dollar holds this unparalleled value, we need to first look at the minting environment of the time, because in 1989, the Denver Mint was operating under immense demand, balancing the production of billions of coins for national circulation with the pressure of maintaining die longevity and quality control. And during this period, the Mint had been experimenting with different metal suppliers and new blank preparation techniques, which unintentionally increased the chance of errors in both the blanks and the dies used for striking coins, and the coin in question, the one that became the most famous 1989 D-half dollar of all, shows signs of having been struck on an improperly prepared planchette, one that deviated slightly but significantly from the standard copper-nickel-clad composition, containing a minute but measurable amount of silver and exhibiting non-standard electromagnetic readings and a slightly heavier weight, a fact that first brought attention to this piece when a collector noticed that the coin felt denser and looked subtly different under light, and further tests confirmed that this was not an ordinary planchette but a transitional or experimental blank possibly left over from commemorative minting processes. And while that fact alone would place this coin in the rare category, what sets it entirely apart is the number and nature of visible minting errors present, starting with the dramatically off-center strike that shifts Kennedy's portrait nearly 20% to the left, leaving a wide crescent of unstruck metal along the right side of the coin, an error that already garners significant value in error coin markets due to its striking visual appeal. But what's remarkable here is that despite the off-center strike, the date 1989 and mint mark D remain fully legible, which is a key factor in authenticating and valuing error coins. And beyond the off-center strike, we also find strong double die errors on both sides of the coin, with the most pronounced doubling appearing on the letters in Liberty, "In God We Trust," and the numerals in 1989 on the obverse, and on the reverse, doubling is clearly seen in United States of America, half dollar, and even in the intricate details of the eagle's wings and shield. And what distinguishes this doubling as significant rather than trivial is that it results from a hub misalignment during die preparation rather than die wear, meaning it is a true double die rather than mere mechanical doubling. And these true double dies are among the most sought after and valued errors in all of numismatics, especially when they are bold, visible, and appear on both sides of the coin. And if that weren't enough, this particular coin also displays a clash mark where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchette in between, leaving ghost-like imprints of the opposing die's design on both faces of the coin, such as the faint outlines of the eagle's wings near Kennedy's neck and parts of the lettering appearing in reverse where they should not be, creating an almost hauntingly beautiful overlapping design that catches even casual observers off guard. And this die clash, combined with the double die and off-center strike, creates a trifecta of visually striking errors rarely seen on one single coin, and the errors continue with a broad strike, where the coin was struck without the restraining collar in place, causing it to expand slightly beyond its normal diameter and lose its reeded edge, giving it an unusually smooth and wide rim that further amplifies the sense that something unusual occurred in its creation. And the broad strike adds a final mechanical imperfection to an already flawed but fascinatingly flawed coin. But what ties all of these elements together and sends the value soaring into the tens of millions is the coin's astonishing condition, because despite all of these errors and the chaos of its creation, the 1989 D-half dollar in question was found in what grading experts have declared a near-flawless mint state 69 condition, meaning it retains its full luster, brilliant surface, and minimal post-mint handling marks, an almost unheard-of circumstance for an error coin which by nature is often damaged, discolored, or degraded due to the very forces that created its anomalies, and it was discovered not in a collection or vault but inside a bank-wrapped roll of circulated half dollars by an amateur collector who had only recently begun searching rolls for potential finds, and who immediately noticed the coin's strange appearance and submitted it for grading, authentication, and expert evaluation. And once the major grading agencies confirmed the combination of unique planchette, multiple dramatic errors, and pristine condition, word quickly spread across the numismatic community, and the coin was soon offered privately to a group of elite collectors who specialize in high-value error coins, eventually culminating in a closed auction sale that reportedly reached a jaw-dropping $33 million, making it one of the highest-valued modern error coins ever sold. And since then, it has become a subject of seminars, articles, podcasts, and display exhibits, admired not only for its monetary value but for what it represents, a snapshot of how minting can go gloriously wrong and produce something incredibly unique. and a reminder that treasure can still be found in the most mundane places, that a few minutes spent looking at your change can lead to a life-changing discovery, and that within the metal and design of a simple coin can lie a story of industrial imperfection, historical significance, and extraordinary value. And for collectors everywhere, the 1989 D-half dollar has become a symbol of the unexpected, a beacon of hope that the next great coin might still be out there waiting to be found, sitting unnoticed in circulation or hidden in an old stash, and that possibility keeps the hobby alive with excitement, curiosity, and passion. And as for the coin itself, it now resides in a private collection where it is insured for its full sale value and continues to attract attention from scholars, investors, and enthusiasts alike, serving as a powerful example of why minting errors matter and why rarity combined with condition can yield unbelievable results. So if you have any half dollars in your possession from the late 80s, particularly with a 1989 D mint mark, it's worth taking a closer look, weighing them, examining them under magnification, and checking for anything unusual, because while this particular specimen may be one of a kind, the mint has a long history of unintentional variations and misstrikes that sometimes escape detection, and who knows what may still be out there waiting to be discovered, just like this $33 million miracle that turned from everyday change into a piece of history. So keep your eyes open, keep collecting, keep learning, and don't forget to subscribe for more incredible stories from the world of coins, where value hides in plain sight and the next big find could be sitting right in your palm.